What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated WBO welterweight superstar boxer Terence Crawford and ERROL the True Spence Jr., undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight superstar boxer, have been going back and forth via social media, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature, discussing a possible future showdown, or should I say, going back and forth, disagreeing, agreeing, debating on a future showdown, right? With that said, obviously the fans are going to chime in. Terence Crawford's sister even chimed in, you know, so you're going to get back and forth, right? But a fight of this magnitude, especially with social media being as big as it is today. When Floyd Money Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao were going back and forth, social media wasn't as big as it is today's time, right? With that said, I had to talk about this. Terence Crawford the pressure seems to, and the entire situation is seeming to bother Terence Crawford. To the point where a fan suggested to Terence Crawford, why don't you fight Showtime Shawn Porter, two-time welterweight superstar boxer, former WBC champion that just fought Errol Spence and lost his titles to Errol Spence, thus the reason why Errol Spence is the unified champion with the WBC, in which Terence Crawford responded to the fan, why don't you fight these nuts? No disrespect to the fans, right? No disrespect to the fan. But Terence Crawford just completely snapped on him, right? And and the fan responded to Terence Crawford by saying, listen, I'll smack the blank out of you, baby boy. That's what the fan told Terence Crawford, right? So this entire situation is seemingly getting out of hand at this point in time with the back and forth and the debating and the arguing. You got fan bases going back and forth. The fight is being built. Regardless of if the fans are realizing this or not, you know, I know the fans are eager to see these two step in the ring and face off against one another. But the fight is being built. That's what's taking place. The fight is growing. Every single hour, every single day, every single minute that they go back and forth, and you get the fan bases continuously to grow and eagerly get eager, and they get, you know, more and more anxious for this fight to take place. The fight is growing, right? And I have to believe that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence understand this as well. Don't believe that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence don't understand this and understand what's taking place. They know that the fight is growing. They are trying to make the fight as big as possible as well. Now, I'm not saying that they're faking the funk. I'm not saying that they're pretending. But trust and believe, they understand that they're promoting this fight. If you don't believe that they understand and they're aware that they're promoting this fight and they're making this fight bigger by the second, by the fans and by myself and by other media members and the family members getting involved and the teams getting involved and the trainers getting involved and the promoters getting involved and everybody else getting involved, and you don't believe that they don't understand, they're not aware that they're making this fight bigger, then you are naive. They understand, and they're both very, very aware just how big they're making this fight. You don't think that they want to cash in on a Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather type of fight? Now, I'm not saying that this fight is going to reach that magnitude because of the history and the accomplishments that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had separate, apart from one another. And then when you bring those two worlds together and those two worlds collide, you have something special. That's the reason why they broke all types of pay-per-view numbers, right? The only reason I tell you guys, I believe that undefeated WBC American Heavyweight Champion Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder and Anthony Joshua, unified British Heavyweight World Champion, can compete with that Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight is due to the fact that they're heavyweights. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, they caught lightning in a bottle. They seized the moment, right? Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, only time you saw numbers like the numbers that Pacquiao and Floyd did, and Floyd did himself with Canelo Alvarez, Oscar De La Hoya, was heavyweights. Floyd Mayweather seized the moment. He changed the game, right? But you're not going to see that type of numbers from guys in welterweight division and cruiserweight on down. It's not going to happen. Now they're gonna try to maximize their abilities and their fan bases and their platforms and everything of that nature, and to capitalize on it, right? Floyd Mayweather, by the time he fought Manny Pacquiao, by the time Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather, he was already 8 division world champion, Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather was already 5 division world champion, undefeated. Already did pay-per-view numbers with Canelo Alvarez that broke records. Oscar De La Hoya that broke records. You understand? Floyd Mayweather had already previously held majority of the highest pay-per-view numbers. You understand? Manny Pacquiao had the whole Philippines behind him. 2 different scenarios. They won't reach that height, right? And so with that said, they're trying to maximize on their situation, on their fight. So trust and believe that they understand exactly what they're doing by allowing this fight to drag on and by allowing each other to respond to one another via social media. So the world and the public can understand and see it and respond and get involved and get hyped and get anxious. It's all a ploy, right? I'm not saying that they're faking it towards one another, because they definitely have a burning desire to touch one another in a good way in the boxing ring. You understand? So with that said, best believe they understand that they're promoting this fight, and best believe they're looking to maximize on it. So with that said, it could do big numbers. It could definitely do 1 million pay-per-views. Easy. Easy. It could do 1 million, 1.5 million pay-per-views. Easy. Right? Especially if it continues on the path that it's continuing on. Right? So Errol Spence said that he'll be back in the ring end of May, early June. That's 5 to 6 months from now. So what is Terence Crawford going to do 5 to 6 months from now? Is he going to stay out the ring until that time? No. Danny Swift Garcia is a 2-division world champion, former unified at 140 junior welterweight division, former WBC champion, is in the WBC rankings. He is the mandatory for Errol the True Spence Jr. So he's going to have to satisfy that mandatory. But look at his version of a mandatory. Danny Garcia is Errol Spence's mandatory. Kavaluskas, the Mean Machine, was Terence Crawford's mandatory. You understand? You don't get mandatories in the form of Danny Swift Garcia as a mandatory, right? That's a huge mandatory. That's a huge, a hurdle to be jumped, right? Now, I expect Errol Spence to do it. I expect Errol Spence to be successful against Danny Garcia, but that's a tough fight. You understand? So he would have fought Mikey Garcia, Shawn Porter, and then Danny Garcia, and possibly on his way on the verge of fighting Terence Crawford. That's a tough stretch. That's a tough stretch, especially coming off a horrific car accident just October 10th. Keep that in mind. You understand? So this is Errol Spence is not having no cupcake schedule. Believe that. Believe that. Right? And if there's a possibility of him landing Manny Pacquiao before he get the Terence Crawford fight to unify in that situation, that's another huge fight. And that's another not easy fight, as we saw with Keith Thurman, right? Manny Pacquiao shocked the world, right? 8-division Filipino superstar boxer, current WBA world champion, welterweight champion, right? He shocked the world. You didn't think he could turn back the clock. Now, Father Time's undefeated, and he's on the wrong side of 40. So ain't no telling what's going to happen with Errol Spence. But Errol Spence will be looking in the mirror again against Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, because Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is also a southpaw, and he's very, very tricky. The size and the strength for Errol Spence is what's going to give him the favorite in the fight, for him to be the favorite in the fight. And the fact that Manny Pacquiao is 40+ years of age. But don't think that's no walk in the park either. So don't listen to the people that tell you, oh, you're going the route of Manny Pacquiao instead of Terence Crawford. Yeah, okay. Look at Manny Pacquiao as a speed bump if you want to. Keith Thurman found that out the hard way. Right? Manny Pacquiao still got something in the tank. He ain't nobody's walk in the park. Okay? He ain't no tune-up. He not a consolation prize. He not a speed bump. That's a fight. And that's a fight. That's a tough fight for Errol Spence, because Errol Spence ain't never been in the ring with nobody like Manny Pacquiao. And the moment is definitely not going to be too big for Manny Pacquiao. But that's going to be the biggest moment Errol Spence has ever been in. So there's a lot to overcome fighting Manny Pacquiao. You understand? So that's no easy feat for Errol Spence to accomplish. And imagine that he beats Manny Pacquiao, holds the WBA, holds the IBF and the WBC, and when he goes to fight Terence Crawford, it's for undisputed. Makes their fight even bigger, right? The problem is, what direction do Terence Crawford go in? Seeing as though he clearly has no interest in fighting two-time welterweight world champion Showtime Shawn Porter, who's a friend of his, as we just see while making this video, because he told a fan that said, listen, why don't you fight Shawn Porter until you can get the Terence Crawford fight, until you can get the Errol Spence fight later on, seeing as though Errol Spence is going to be out another 5 to 6 months. And Terence Crawford said, why don't you fight these nuts? So that sums up how he feels about fighting Shawn Porter, doesn't it? Point blank and period. But I can't wait for this fight to come to fruition, man. This is going to be a huge fight. It's going to be a epic fight. It's going to be a legendary fight, and I can't wait to see it. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.